All right, good morning. From where I'm at on the earth, Shabbat Shalom. Hallelujah. So this is a series on the two witnesses, and we're going to base this whole study off of the principle in Isaiah 46, 9 through 10. I recommend looking it up, that Elohim declares the end from the beginning. That's the principle. He declares the end from the beginning. Now, when we're looking at the two witnesses, he mentions key cities in the context of the two witnesses and their prophesying. He mentions Sodom and Egypt, where also our master was crucified. Okay? And so, our master was not crucified in Sodom or Egypt, but it says which spiritually are called Sodom and Egypt. And so we have the characteristics of a place of Sodom and Egypt. And without getting into that, we need to look up the story of Sodom and find two witnesses, and look up the story of Exodus and find two witnesses, and the themes of fire coming out of their mouth, destroying their adversaries, the nation falling. There were people slain in the city. This technology can really be a challenge. I prefer to use a paper copy, but I'm just trying to have it so you can see it on the phone screen, the Bible verses. So if you study the two witnesses, you'll find out that these themes, these big themes, the plagues, there's two of these witnesses. They prophesy clothed in sackcloth. And we're going to look at Genesis 18 here. But we're going to just jump forward to the two witnesses, read the context, and then we'll jump right into Genesis 18. And you say, why would we look at Genesis 18 when we're in Revelation 11? Well, because Yahuwah declares the end from the beginning. It's a good text to memorize. I should memorize it. I don't have every word of it memorized, but so in verse 2, it says, but the court which is without the temple leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. And I will give power unto my two witnesses. They shall prophesy 1,200 days. 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the Elohim of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth, and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. That's a train coming by, and a lot of people are on the train to perdition with Satan as the captain, and it's very enticing. It's going very fast, and we need to get off that train, get out of Babylon. It says, these have power to shut heaven, verse 6, Revelation 11, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom, and Egypt, where also our master was crucified. And they of the people, and kindreds, and tongues, and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these true prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. And after 3 days and a half the spirit of life from Elohim entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the Elohim of heaven. The second was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So, as they ascended, there was a great earthquake, or after they ascended, but right in that context, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted, and gave glory to the Elohim of heaven. All right. So, verse 8 is the clue that how he declares the end from the beginning. Their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Master was crucified. Now, spiritually it's called Sodom and Egypt. So, the great city, if you look in Revelation 18, it refers to Babylon as a great city, and Babylon being great exactly 6 times. The word city occurs 6 times in reference to Babylon. There's 6 layers of 6 words and phrases that are musical and recognizable even to children in Babylon and in Revelation 18. And that great city is Babylon. Okay. Babylon the Great, that great city, that exact phrase. Here it says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So really it's not only linking us to Sodom and Egypt, but in the context of the book of Revelation, it's also linking us to Babylon, who's drunk with the blood of the saints. That's where our Master was crucified. Not only himself, because it says in Revelation, well, let's go there so you can see. Whose blood is Babylon responsible for the blood of Yeshua? Whoops, I went to 19. Sorry, I meant to go to 18. Yeah. So it's way at the end of chapter 18. Not with that. Here is verse 18, Revelation 18:18. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? It's talking about Babylon, so that's the great city, which spiritually can be called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Master was crucified. Verse 24, talking about Babylon, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints, and of all that were slain upon the earth. That's where Yeshua was crucified, in Babylon, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Okay? That's where everybody's been slain. All the martyrs, all the prophets, all the saints. So that takes you all the way back to Cain, back to the beginning. So I believe it's Satan's bride. Babylon is Satan's bride. The New Jerusalem is, according to Scripture, the Lamb's wife in Revelation 21. So, we need to go to Genesis and learn about 2 witnesses that stand before the Elohim of all the earth, that prophesy, and that by their testimony, fire comes down out of heaven and destroys their adversaries. A little bit different than coming out of their mouth, but the word comes out of their mouth, telling of the fire that's going to come and destroy them. So it's extremely parallel. Happened in Sodom. The city fell, and there was exactly 2 of them. One was the Almighty, and the other 2 were messengers, angels, and then it calls them men in another place. So here we go, uncovering the 2 witnesses. Not to say that I understand it all, but we're going to be on a treasure hunt here. So, and Yahuwah appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. Said, my Adonai, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away. I pray thee from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray thee, Pray you be fetched and washed your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, and I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye pass on, for therefore are you come to your servant. And they said, So do as thou hast said. So they give them some food, and they're given the good news that Sarah's going to have a child, and she laughs and she denies it. And then the men are going to tell something to Abraham about Sodom and Gomorrah. So that's in verse 16. And the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom. There you go, Sodom, like it says in Revelation 11 about the two witnesses. And Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. Why are these men looking toward Sodom? Verse 17, and Yahuwah said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahuwah to do justice and judgment, that Yahuwah may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. And Yahuwah said, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is grievous, I will go now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom. But Abraham stood yet before Yahuwah. Okay, so here's the two men, and they're going to Sodom. Yahuwah is sticking around, standing before Abraham. Now, that must be the son of Elohim, the only begotten of the Father. And because the Father, Yeshua, the Son, said, No man hath seen the Father, the only begotten of the Father, he hath declared him. So that must have been the pre-incarnate Son of Elohim, before he came in the likeness of sinful flesh. Yes, he came in the likeness of sinful flesh and got the victory for us, so he can relate to us, and now we can have his power, in our sinful flesh to overcome sin. So it's really good news. So he is standing before Abraham. Okay. Yeah, that's verse 22. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? And Abraham goes through this process of, finding out how many people would have to be in the city for him to still spare it. And he gets them down to 10. 10 people. It's pretty amazing. It's interesting what it says in Revelation 11. It says the 10th. What did it say about the 10th of the city? So it's very another connection. Okay, so we need to go to Revelation 11, and we need to find a 10th, because Abraham is negotiating with the Father, so to speak. Not really, but he's saying, You're not going to destroy the righteous with the wicked. That would be far be it from you. And it's amazing how he's just talking to the Creator like that. And so he brings him. He gets down to 10. I won't destroy it even for 10, which is a 10th, right? So here's what it says in Revelation 11:13. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. So it's a little different scenario. Instead of him saving 10 righteous and sparing the city, a 10th part of the city falls. But you still see the 10th connection. And the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. So I don't know the significance of that, but it's good to compare. I don't know why there would be a parallel, but there must be something to it. Maybe you'll discover it. So back to Genesis 18, he's going to spare the city for 10 people. So it is a little bit different scenario, but you're going to see we will learn things as we study the beginning in connection with the end. So it gets them down to 10. in verse 22. And he said, "Oh, let not Yahuwah be angry, or Adonai be angry, and I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure 10 shall be found there." And he said, "I will not destroy it for 10's sake." And Yahuwah went his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned into his place. Okay. Now, here you have two witnesses. And there came two angels, or two messengers, to Sodom and even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, "Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways." And they said, "Nay, but we will abide in the street all night." And he pressed upon them greatly. And they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and to bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round about, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, "Where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them." See, here this city is trying to harm these two witnesses, these two messengers. And what did it say? "If any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and destroys their adversaries," in Revelation 11. So Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, "I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have two daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you." It's terrible what he offers. I don't know if I don't think he really intended to do that. I think he was in a pinch, just trying to figure something out. Since he's called righteous Lot, I think he just, in a moment of panic, thought up something that he would never do. I'm going to believe that. I could be wrong, but the men say, "Stand back!" And they said again, "This one fellow came into sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now we will deal worse with thee than with them." And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. Now they're pounding on the door. But the men put forth their hand. That's the two angels, the two messengers. You could also call them, they are certainly two witnesses. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut the door, and they smote the men at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. So all manner of plagues they are able to do, two witnesses. These men are blinded by the two angels. And the men said unto Lot, now he's the two angels, now he says, and the men, these are the same men. Hast thou here any besides, son-in-law, and thy sons and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because of the cry is waxen great before the face of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah has sent us to destroy it. So who's they said, we will destroy this place. What did it say about the two witnesses in Revelation 11? Yeah. It says, and if any man, verse 5, if any man will hurt them. Now these men of Sodom were attempting to hurt the angels. They wanted to defile them. These two men, these two messengers, these two witnesses. And if any man will hurt them, verse 5, Revelation 18, and fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. That's exactly what happened in Sodom. In Sodom, they're trying to defile these two witnesses, two messengers, two men. They're certainly witnesses, bearing witness that they said, we are going to destroy the city. And what came? How did they destroy it? Fire proceeds, right? From the word of their mouth, they said, we're going to destroy it. Fire proceeds and devours their enemies. And they are killed in Sodom. In the case of Sodom, the entire city perishes except the 10 that escaped. So it's a slightly different scenario, but it's not an exact repeat, but as we see more parallels, it's going to shed more light on the subject. So, there's another absolutely striking parallel, undeniable. Okay. So, let's see. Yeah, get back to the verse. Okay, sorry. Okay, verse 13. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great. So these two witnesses, these two angels, are saying, we will destroy this place. It's going to be with fire. Come in from their word, which is from their mouth. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for Yahuwah will destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, yeah, right. You're going to destroy this whole city with fire. Huh. They just laughing away. Sounds just like Noah's day. Oh, really? It's going to rain from heaven. Huh. Yeah, right. And people are laughing today. Oh, yeah, two witnesses. Yeah, right. They're going to come and all these things are going to happen. Ha, ha, ha. People mock today, too. Same response. Now, verse 15. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife, and thy two daughters which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, he shouldn't have lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters, and Yahuwah being merciful unto him. And they brought him forth, and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. What were they going to be consumed with? Fire. And of course, we know what happened to his wife. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my master. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight. Thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, now the city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also. That I will not overthrow this city, for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou be come thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. Another connection here with Revelation 18, it says that these angels say, I cannot do anything until you come thither. And so that's in Revelation 18, it says, Come out of her, my people. The only difference, it says that you be not partakers of her plagues. So it's even more urgent in Revelation, because if we tarry there, we're going to end up like Lot's wife. Now it says, verse 23, you're going to find two more witnesses again. Except this time, it's the Father and the Son. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered unto Zoar. Then, so, it sounds like the passing of a day, right? Because the sun is coming up in verse 15, and when the morning arose, the angels hastened Lot. So they're journeying. They had quite a journey, I guess. I don't know. It took them almost 24 hours. Because verse 23, the sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. So I don't know why it took him so long or how far this is, but that's what it seems to say, unless, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling. I'm sorry to do that to you. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. So something to search out. Unless, when morning arose was like when it was really dark. I'm not sure. You'd have to look up all the words in their context in Hebrew. But here's two more witnesses. Then Yahuwah, Yod He Vav He, a lot of people, Yehovah. Then Yahuwah rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahuwah out of heaven. Okay. Did you catch that? There's two witnesses there. Then Yahuwah rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahuwah out of heaven. You've got the one on the earth, Yahovah on the earth, that was standing with Abraham, and then you've got Yahuwah in heaven, out of heaven. That's the Father and the Son, two witnesses. Fire is coming down out of heaven, and he overthrow those cities, and the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. Of course, it burnt up. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before Yahuwah, and he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. Now, the smoke of a furnace is a connection to the beast of the bottomless pit. Remember in Revelation 11? It says, and the beast that arises up out of the bottomless pit is going to slay these two prophets. And here you have a smoke of a furnace, as Sodom and Gomorrah are burning up. And so the smoke of a furnace, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Revelation Revelation 9. Let's take a look. Revelation 9. But while we're here in the two witnesses, well, web page not available. Let's Revelation 11. Let's look at the beast that comes out of the bottomless pit. Verse 7, and when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our master was crucified. Okay, we're going to see now, as Sodom and Gomorrah is destroyed, Abraham's looking where the Son, Yahovah, the Son, stood by Abraham. Of course, the Father is in heaven. So you have the two witnesses there, and then they send, with the Son, Yahovah, came two witnesses, two messengers. And that's the same way the whole Bible is written. The Father gives the word to the Son. The Son sends his angel. But he has two. One of them is Gabriel, and the other, so far as I know, is unnamed. So there's a lot there. But let's see if we can get to Revelation 9 and make the connection of the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit with smoke of the furnace of Revelation or Genesis 19. Okay. All right. And the fifth angel sounded, we're in Revelation 9, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. A star falling from heaven. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit. And there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace. There's the phrase from Genesis 19 or 20, whatever verse that was. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. And unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of Elohim in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. So this beast also, like these locusts, arises out of the bottomless pit in Revelation 11, and there's the smoke coming out. I'm not trying to divert here, but it's, there's something there to be discovered. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but the more we overlay and link these themes and phrases over on top of each other, the more we're going to be able to see it. And we may not get it right now. You might be asleep one night and wake up, and you might just be like, oh, I see a connection here. So these two witnesses, the beast comes out of the bottomless pit in verse 7, just like the locusts do in the smoke of a furnace. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. Now, those angels in Sodom and Gomorrah, the men were trying to have relations with them. They weren't killed, but here's an interesting thing about the two witnesses, the Father and the Son. The Son was killed, was he not? Surely he was killed. The Master was crucified, right? Where was he crucified? Well, he was crucified outside of the city in Jerusalem. But Babylon, the bride of Satan, is responsible for that great city. And so the Father was in Christ reconciling the world unto himself. So, in a literal sense, no, the Father did not die like these two witnesses, but he still was in Christ reconciling the world unto himself. So there's a parallel. Now, the two witnesses, again, just to summarize, this is just a kind of a part one, dealing with Sodom and the parallels. So again, we have their dead bodies lie in the street of the great city which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Master was crucified. So Sodom, we have two witnesses, two angels show up with the Almighty, and they say, we're going to destroy this city, get out, and get your children out of here. Boy, this technology really bothers me. It's helpful and it bothers me. It's probably a blessing and a curse, depending on how you use it. But so that's what happens. Fire proceeds from their word out of heaven and destroys their adversaries. So the parallels are striking. And then you also have the Father and the Son as two witnesses. And that's a parallel as well. And I'm just going to close with the structure of the book of Revelation. And you see that the way it's structured is there's the Father, then there's the Son, then he sends his angel, and his angel gives the word to the servant. But there are, again, two angels that stand before him. They are represented by the two golden pipes that come out of the olive tree. The two olive trees. Okay, so let's look at the Revelation. See that pattern? The revelation of Yeshua Mashiach, Yeshua Messiah, which Elohim gave unto him, to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bear record of the word of Elohim and of the testimony of Yeshua and of all things that he saw. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So Elohim the Father gives his Son the word, the testimony, the witness, and then he, I think it's talking about Yeshua, sends and signifies it by his angel unto his servant John. So that's the order of it. And also the two witnesses are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks, which, right? So that is a quote from Zechariah 14. So next time, the next study, we're going to get into the parallelism of Revelation 11 with the Exodus, and specifically Egypt. and then we'll carry on. And I think there will be a picture that will emerge that we'll learn a lot more about the two witnesses. And we may not get the revelation right away, but just in studying and comparing, you have it in your head, and you know. So let's look at this in Zechariah 4. Same thing in Revelation. You see same pattern. And the angel, see, it's an unnamed angel. It's not Gabriel. It's not Gabriel. It's an unnamed angel. See? But it's an angel. That talked with me, came again and waked me as a man that is wakened out of his sleep. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The angel comes. Wouldn't that be nice for an angel to wake you up? I would like that. As a man that is wakened out of his sleep, and said unto me, what do you see? What do you see? And I said, I have looked, and behold a candlestick all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. Wow, 2 olive trees. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me. See, just like John, the Father communicates to his Son, and the Son sends his angel to a prophet, Zechariah. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my master? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest not thou not what these be? And I said, no, my master. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of Yahuwah unto Zerubbabel, saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith Yahuwah of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel? Thou shalt become a plain, and he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings, crying, grace, grace unto it. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, the hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hand shall also finish it. And thou shalt know that Yahuwah of hosts hath sent me unto you. For who hath despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice, and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of Yahuwah, which run to and fro through the whole earth. What are the 7? Well, it says 7 lamps. There's a candlestick with 7 lamps. It's the same thing you see in Revelation. A lamb has 7 eyes. And then answered I, and said unto him, what are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof? So he's inquiring about these olive trees. And I answered again and said unto him, what be these 2 olive branches, which through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? So here's these 2 branches and 2 pipes. They're emptying golden out of themselves. Now remember, what is that golden oil? It's the Spirit, the word of Yahuwah, just like he said. The word of Yahuwah. Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit. Yeshua said, the word that I speak unto you, spirit and life. Okay? That's what that oil is. It's the word and spirit of Yahuwah. And he answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my master. So he's asking about 2 things. He's asking about the 2 olive trees and about the 2 olive branches that have 2 golden pipes. Then said he, these are the 2 anointed ones that stand by Yahuwah of the whole earth, or by the Adonai of the whole earth. Now, I believe he's specifically talking about the 2 branches and the 2 golden pipes that empty the golden oil. Okay? Now, why do I say that? The 2 olive trees in Revelation are clearly the 2 witnesses. But the pipes are through the vessel through which the oil travels to get to the lamp or the candlestick. So when you look at the kingdom of Elohim and his throne, you have the Father, Yod He Vav He. You have the Son, Yod He Vav He. They bear the exact same name as we just saw in Genesis. Same name. They're not the same. They're not the same, but they're still one. They're echad. But in Genesis, they say, let us make man in our image. Okay? So I believe the Father spoke that to the Son. Now, these two witnesses have two anointed ones. So, who stands by their throne? Who is anointed to stand by their throne? The throne of Elohim. Angels, right? The Ark of the Covenant. What does the Ark of the Covenant have on each side? Sweetheart, my little daughter, what does the Ark of the Covenant have on either side?
Angels.
Angels. How many? 5, 6, 7, or 2?
10.
2. That's right, sweetie pie. That's right. That's right. And so when the Father wants to communicate, he gives it to his Son, and the Son sends one of the angels, right? To communicate the word, the oil, the golden oil, the Spirit of Yahuwah. And in the case of Mary, the mother of baby Yeshua, what angel did he send?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. That's right, sweetie. Gabriel. That's right. Now, in the case of Zechariah, it doesn't say which one. But, it was an angel. So, there are these two anointed ones that stand by the Ark of the Covenant are two angels, and they are the two branches and the two golden pipes. Now, the two olive trees through which the oil goes through, I believe it's far bigger than any two people. Far bigger. It's primarily represented by the Father and the Son, the ultimate two witnesses. And the Son, in the person of the Son, the Godhead was slain. Yeshua died. Before that, he was not called Yeshua, though. But so I could agree, yes, Moses and Aaron are the two witnesses. Moses and Elijah are the two witnesses. Daniel and John are the two witnesses, yes. It's the Word. The Word of Yahuwah are the two witnesses. And so I have a more encompassing acceptance. I can accept many views of the two witnesses because I believe it encompasses a far bigger thing. And I'll share more of that later. But for now, we see that there are many parallels between Zechariah and Revelation 11, and many parallels between Genesis 18 and 19 and the story of Sodom. The next study, we're going to do Exodus, and we'll get more into Zechariah, and you'll find out that these two witnesses is a very broad topic. We could probably spend the next lifetimes studying it. I believe that's how broad of a topic it is. So I think I'm just maybe going to scratch the surface and maybe pull up a few gold nuggets from the Word. I'm hoping you who are listening, you're going to discover something new and share that, and I might catch on or hear it or through the grapevine. Yeah, bless you. Hallelujah. And I hope you enjoy studying the Word, and it's really fun. The more we study the end with the beginning, the more everything makes sense. All right, take care. Shalom Aleichem. Feel free to visit my website, Andy, Andy, Rising, RISING, like the sun coming up, .com, andyrising.com. Peace be unto you. Shalom Aleichem.